In a faraway galaxy, many alien empires ruled the stars. Some were peaceful, some were cruel. But one empire was feared by all. They were called the Velari Empire, and they had a secret. Their princess had never shown her face to anyone. She wore a mask made of dark crystal. Even her guards had never seen her face. Her voice was soft and calm, but people said it could make you feel cold or warm, depending on her mood. The Velari believed in something called the bond. It was a powerful connection. Two minds and hearts joined forever. Once bonded, no lie could exist between them. But the bond only worked if both people truly accepted each other. For peace in the galaxy, the Velari princess needed to bond with someone from another world. Many brave warriors and leaders had come to try. But when they saw her mask and were told they could not see her face before the bond, they all refused. Some ran away, some went mad. One man even tried to force the mask off. He was never seen again. So the Velari waited, and the galaxy held its breath, until a human arrived. His name was Eli Ward. He was a soldier from Earth, not a famous one, not a leader, just a man who had seen too much war and too many lies. He had lost his family in a space battle. Now he had nothing left to lose. When the Earth leaders asked for volunteers to meet the Velari princess, no one stepped forward except Eli. "Why are you doing this?" the Earth ambassador asked him. Eli just shrugged. "Someone has to." The palace of the Velari was made of silver and light. It floated in space above a red sun. Eli was taken inside by tall alien guards with glowing eyes. They said nothing as they led him down long halls. At the end of the path was a round door. One of the guards turned to him. "You may enter. The princess waits alone." Eli looked at the door, then nodded. "Okay." The door opened with a soft hiss. Eli stepped inside. The room was dim and quiet. Strange blue lights glowed from the walls. In the center stood a tall figure in a silver robe. Her face was hidden behind a black crystal mask. Her hands were folded. She did not move. Then she spoke. "You are human." Her voice was calm and strange, like wind passing through glass. Eli stayed quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Yes, my name is Eli." The princess tilted her head. "You came to bond? I came to meet you." "You know the rule," she said. "You will not see my face before the bond." "I know. Others feared me. I'm not them." There was a pause. Then she stepped closer. Her movements were smooth and slow. "You do not fear me?" she asked. Eli looked into the mask. He couldn't see her eyes, but he felt her gaze. "I don't know what I feel yet," he said, "but fear isn't one of them." The princess was silent. Then she said, "Many say my face is cursed. Some say it is too beautiful. Some say it is a monster's face." Eli crossed his arms. "You don't seem like a monster." "And if I am?" she asked. "Then I'll still." "Listen, I didn't come here to judge you." The air in the room changed. It felt warmer, softer. "You are strange, Eli Ward," the princess whispered. "You are too, princess." She almost laughed. But it was a small sound, like a wind chime. "The bond is not easy," she said. "It takes trust, pain, and truth. Are you ready for that?" Eli nodded. "I've already been through pain. Maybe truth will be something new." She stepped even closer. Now she was just a few feet away. "No one has ever stood this close without trembling," she said. Eli smiled. "I guess I didn't get the memo." She reached out her hand, not to touch, just to show it. "Then let us begin the first step," she said. "Speak your greatest fear." Eli's smile faded. He looked down, then back up. "My greatest fear is dying without doing something that mattered." The princess was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You have already done something. You stayed." A small light glowed from her palm. It hovered in the air between them. "This is the start of the bond," she said. Eli looked at the light. Then at her masked face, he reached out and touched it, and the room went dark. Opening scene. A memory that isn't his. Eli opened his eyes, but he was not in the room anymore. He stood on a burning battlefield. The sky was purple, the ground was cracked. Screams filled the air. Alien soldiers were fighting, but none were human. Suddenly, a little girl ran past him, crying. She had silver hair and golden eyes. Her hands were glowing. A deep voice shouted, "Find the girl, she must not live." Eli turned. Fire exploded behind him. The girl looked back once, straight at him, and disappeared. Everything went black again. Eli gasped and fell to his knees. He was back in the Valari palace, in a different chamber. The floor was white crystal. The walls shimmered like water. Strange symbols floated in the air. The princess stood in front of him, her mask glowing softly. "That memory," Eli whispered. "It wasn't mine." "No," she said. "It was mine." He looked up at her. "Why did I see it?" "The bond has begun," she answered. "Our minds are slowly touching. You will see more. You will feel more. And if you are not strong, it will break you." Eli stood up slowly. "I'm not afraid." She tilted her head. "You should be." The trial room, the room changed. Without warning, walls moved, lights shifted, and doors vanished. The whole chamber turned into a wide, dark arena. Above them, glowing alien judges appeared floating, faceless beings with long cloaks. One spoke in a voice like thunder. "The first trial begins." The princess turned to Eli. "You must face your truth. Not the one you tell others, the one you hide from yourself." Eli nodded. "Let's get this over with." The memory trap light wrapped around Eli like fog. He blinked and suddenly, he was standing inside a burning spaceship. No, he whispered. "Not here." The sound of alarms and screams filled the air. He ran down a metal hallway. A voice came from the radio. "Eli, where are you? We're trapped. They're closing in." It was his brother's voice. Ben. Eli knew this moment. It was real. It happened years ago, during the Earth-Martian War. He had chosen the wrong corridor. His brother and his squad died. He had never forgiven himself. Eli stopped running. He looked at the fire ahead. His hands trembled. "I chose wrong," he whispered. "They died because of me." Then he heard another voice. Her voice. "You were trying to save them," the princess said softly. "You are not a god, Eli. You cannot rewrite the past, but you can face it." Her voice gave him strength. Eli took a deep breath. He stepped into the fire. The light of truth. The fire vanished. The judges above glowed brighter. One said, "He did not run." Another said, "He carries pain, but he does not hide." The third whispered, "He is different." Eli stood in the center of the chamber. Smoke rose from his clothes, but he was not burned. The princess walked toward him. "You passed the first trial. There are 3. Eli raised an eyebrow. "Only 3? She replied, "Each one breaks something inside you. Only the strong finish." Eli looked at her mask. "And if I finish?" "That I will be yours," she said. "Mind to mind, soul to soul." Secret doubts later, as Eli rested in a quiet room, a small voice entered his thoughts. It was not spoken aloud, but he heard it clearly. "Eli, if you saw my real face, would you still want me?" He sat up. "Is that you?" he asked the air. No answer. Then the voice came again. "Some in my court want you dead. They say a human can never bond with Valari blood. But I am tired of masks. I want someone who sees me, not my throne." Eli clenched his fists. "I didn't come here to play politics," he whispered. "I came for you." A warning from the shadows. Just then, a dark figure stepped into his room, a tall alien with red armor. He had no eyes, just a long mask shaped like a blade. "You are brave, human," the figure said. "But you are not welcome here." Eli stood up. You planning to do something about it? The masked alien stepped closer. Leave before the next trial, or your blood will stain the stars. Eli smiled, sharp and fearless. You should. Try harder if you want to scare me. The figure vanished into shadows. Eli sat back down. Somewhere, deep inside the palace, the princess felt his courage. She touched the edge of her mask and whispered, maybe. He is the one. Opening scene, a dream that bleeds. Eli was running, but he didn't know where. The ground beneath him was made of glass. Every step cracked it a little more. Above him, the stars were falling, slow and silent. Behind him, someone was crying. A soft voice called his name. Eli. Wait. He turned. The princess stood at the edge of a cliff. Her mask was cracked. Blood ran down from behind it, thick, black, and glowing. She reached out. Don't let them change you. The glass broke beneath her feet. She fell, and Eli screamed. He sat up in bed, breath heavy, sweat cold on his back. It was just a dream. But the pain in his chest felt real. The room was quiet. No guards, no light, just his thoughts, until he heard her voice again. But this time, he was awake. The whisper, that wasn't a lie. You saw it too, her voice said. It wasn't in the room. It was in his head. Eli didn't speak out loud. He just thought, the dream? Yes, she answered. I see what you see now, and you see me. He closed his eyes. Was it real? There was a pause. Then, parts of it. He stood and walked to the window. The stars outside didn't move. The Valari palace floated in still silence, like a temple lost in space. Why are you speaking to me like this? He asked. Because if they hear me, they will punish me, she said softly. And I needed to know if you felt anything. When you touched my light, Eli smiled sadly. I felt more than I wanted to. And did it scare you? No, but it made me remember. The room with no doors. The next morning, Eli was taken to the second trial. This time, the room was black, no walls, no floor, no light. Just silence. Then a single chair appeared. In it sat Eli himself, or something that looked like him. The clone smiled. I am every lie you've ever told. The princess's voice echoed through the void. To pass this trial, you must defeat the version of yourself you hate most. The clone stood. His face twisted into a grin. You lied when you said you were ready. You lied when you said you didn't care about her face. Eli stepped forward. I care about who she is, not what she looks like. The clone laughed. Liar, you're human. You fear the unknown. Just like everyone else. No, Eli said. That's why I'm still here. I face what others run from. The clone lunged. They fought memory against will, regret against truth. In the end, Eli stood over his broken reflection, and the darkness faded. The gift in the shadows later, back. In his chamber, Eli found a small object on his table. It was a crystal orb glowing with soft white light. He touched it. Suddenly, a vision appeared. The princess, no mask, just a silhouette. Her long silver hair moved in a gentle wind. Her face remained hidden by light. She spoke. You're closer than anyone has ever come. But danger grows. Not from me, from them. Who? Eli whispered. There are those who want to use me. They think if a bond with a human succeeds, their power will end. And will it? The light flared. Yes. Voices behind walls. That night, Eli walked past the training hall. Voices echoed from behind a wall. He paused. It was the alien judges. Their words were low, angry. He is not breaking. Then we must break her instead. Would she protect him? She already is. Eli clenched his fists. This bond wasn't just a test, it was a war. One that had already begun in secret. The princess's secret name later that night. Her voice returned. Eli, I want to tell you something. He sat on the floor, eyes closed. Go ahead. My real name is not Princess. That is a title, a prison. He waited. My name is Siren. It means silent star in my language. My father gave it to me before he died. Eli felt something inside him shift. Siren, he said softly. That's beautiful. She whispered, you're the first person I've told. Not even my people know it. Why me? Because you don't want power from me. You just listen. Final scene. The mask begins to crack in a hidden chamber. A figure watched Eli through a crystal screen. He wore red armor and a long, blade-shaped mask. He spoke to someone in shadows. He must not complete the final trial. A second voice replied, then kill him, before the bond becomes unbreakable. Opening scene. Blood on the ceiling. The first drop of blood fell from the ceiling. It landed on the floor beside Eli's bed, silent, dark, and shining under the moonlight from the window. He didn't notice it at first. But then came the second drop. And this time, it hit his hand. Eli opened his eyes instantly. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. He just listened. There was someone in the room, not on the floor. Above him, the blade comes down with one smooth motion. Eli rolled off the bed just as a sharp blade stabbed through his pillow. He hit the ground, grabbed the metal rod he kept hidden under the bed, and looked up. A figure hung upside down from the ceiling, long cloak, sharp armor, glowing red eyes. The assassin didn't speak. He just dropped to the floor like a ghost and charged the fight. In silence they moved without words. Metal hit metal. Eli's rod clashed with the assassin's twin blades. The room filled with shadows and sparks. Every strike was meant to kill. Every block was pure survival. Eli kicked the alien backward, knocking over a lamp. Light spilled across the assassin's face. He wore a red mask shaped like a skull. Who sent you? Eli shouted. The assassin said nothing. Instead, he threw a knife straight at Eli's throat. But before it could hit, time froze. A voice in his mind, close your eyes, came Siren's voice inside his head. Eli obeyed without question. When he opened them again, he was standing in a glowing white room. The assassin was gone. So was the danger. Siren stood in front of him, not masked this time, but still half hidden in light. You almost died, she said quietly. Why did you stop? Time? Eli asked. I didn't, she replied. You did. A power awakens. Eli stared at his hands. That's not possible. The bond is waking something inside you, Siren explained. Each step we take together makes us stronger, but also more visible. Visible to who? The ones who fear change. The ones who live in power and lies. Eli remembered the words of the assassin. Or rather, his silence. The message was clear. If you continue, you die. But Eli didn't step back. He stepped forward. I won't stop, he said. Even if I'm the last one standing. The warning. When the vision faded, Eli was still in the room, but the assassin was gone. Just a pool of dark blood on the window ledge. And a symbol carved into the wall. 3 sharp lines and a burning eye. He didn't understand it, but someone did. Later, when the princess returned to speak with him in the mind space, she saw the symbol in his thoughts, and her voice trembled. The blade order. They only move when the High Council gives secret permission. So someone important wants me dead, Eli said. No, Siren whispered. Someone important wants me to stay alone, forever. The third trial begins. Eli was called again to the trial hall. This time, there were no floating judges. Number. Glowing lights, just a long table. On it were faces, holograms, hundreds of them. Each one flickered with emotion: fear, anger, love, hatred, confusion. Eli didn't understand. Then a voice said, you must choose the one that matches her true heart. If you fail, the bond ends forever. The test of knowing. He walked slowly past the faces. Some looked peaceful. Some looked powerful. One smiled like a queen. Another cried like a child. Eli closed his eyes. He remembered Siren's voice. Her words, her silence, the dream. The way she said her name. He walked back, stopped at a face that wasn't smiling. It looked unsure, lonely. But hopeful. He touched it. The table vanished, and her voice filled the room. You saw me. Siren's face, almost. That night, the mind space changed again. It looked like a beach under moonlight. The stars moved slowly overhead. Siren appeared from the waves. Her mask was gone, but her face was covered by shadows. Only her voice reached him. You passed all 3 trials. The bond is now complete, but not yet finished. Then what's left? Eli asked. Siren's voice trembled, not from fear but from emotion. You must now see me with your own eyes. Eli nodded. Then show me, she hesitated. Once you see my face, everything changes. I'm ready, he said. No, she replied. But you will be. Final scene. The blade strikes again, far away, in a secret chamber. The red-armored assassin knelt before a council of shadows. He survived. The leader said coldly. The assassin placed Eli's blood-stained pillow on the floor. He will not survive next time, the assassin replied. The leader stood. His robes split open, revealing sharp bone and black fire. Then we go ourselves. Opening scene. A mirror that doesn't lie. The mirror did not show Eli's reflection. He stood in a golden room, surrounded by soft lights and floating candles. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. In front of him stood a tall mirror with silver edges, but when he looked into it, he didn't see himself. He saw her, Siren, the alien princess. Her face was still hidden, but her hands were trembling. She was reaching toward the glass like she wanted to break it, but COULDN single quotes did. Eli stepped closer. Her voice came from the mirror, soft and low. If I show you my face, I can never hide again. He placed his hand on the glass. I never asked you to hide. The mirror cracked. And suddenly, everything turned to white. The final room. Truth has no shadows. Eli opened his eyes. Now he was standing in a new room. There were no walls, no floor, just floating lights and starlight below his feet. It felt like a dream, but at WSN single quotes to. Across from him stood Siren. This time, she wasn't behind a wall. She wasn't in his mind. She was real, standing just 10 steps away. Still masked, still silent. The wind moved around them, even though there was no air. It whispered. Then, for the first time, she reached up and touched her mask. Eli didn't move. He just waited. The moment everyone feared. Her fingers touched the crystal edges, one by one. The locks on the sides clicked open. The glow inside the mask grew stronger. Eli had heard the stories. They said anyone who saw her face would lose their mind. Some said it was cursed. Some said it was too beautiful. Others said it was neither. Just different. No one knew the truth, because no one ever stayed long enough to find out. But Eli stayed. The reveal. She pulled the mask away, and for one long silent second, he saw her. Her skin shimmered like glass touched by moonlight, soft and glowing. Her eyes were gold with galaxies inside them. Her face was not human, but not monstrous. It was something otherworldly. Something no words could describe. She was beautiful. Yes, but not in a way that made you want to own her. She was beautiful in a way that made you want to protect her, to understand her, to listen. Eli didn't blink. He didn't flinch. He smiled. You're real, he said softly. Her eyes filled with tears. You didn't run, she whispered. I never planned to. A bond made of truth. She walked toward him, slow, unsure. No mask. No guards. No walls between them. Just 2 beings. Siren reached out her hand. Eli took it. And in that moment, a light burst around them. Not fire, not magic, but truth. The final seal of the bond locked into place. Their minds connected fully. He saw her memories. Pain of being alone. The silence behind her smile. The days she wished someone would just ask her how she felt. And she saw him. The loss of his brother. The guilt. The fight to matter in a universe that didn't care. They saw it all, and they didn't look away. The bond that changed everything far away. In the chambers of the Volari High Council, the air cracked like thunder. The elders stood in silence as an ancient stone began to glow, the bond stone. A voice echoed through the halls. The forbidden bond is complete. Panic spread. One elder shouted, "It must be broken." Another cried, "If the people see them together, the old ways will end." But it was too late. For the first time in Volari history, an outsider had seen the royal face and loved it. But not everyone rejoiced in the shadows of the lower palace. The assassin sharpened his blade. He watched a hologram of Eli and Siren standing together, hands locked. He turned to his master, a tall figure with dark armor and 6 glowing eyes. "They are bonded," the assassin said. The master replied, "Then we cut the bond." At the heart. Final scene, the message that night in their shared vision space. Siren appeared again, this time with no fear in her eyes. "You saw me," she said. Eli nodded. "And I'm still here." She smiled, glowing, but then a shadow passed behind her. The light flickered, and Eli heard a whisper, not hers, a deep, cruel voice. "You are marked, human. The bond will be your end." Opening scene. The silence before fire. The stars outside the palace had stopped blinking. Eli noticed it first. He was standing on a high balcony beside Siren. The wind was gentle. The sky was calm, but something felt wrong. Too calm. The stars always shimmered, always flickered, but now they were frozen, like the galaxy was holding its breath. Siren closed her eyes. Her body stiffened. And then she whispered, "They've come." The sky falls without warning. The sky ripped open. Black ships burst through. The clouds like falling knives. They didn't carry flags. No colors. No warnings. Just fire. The first blast hit the outer palace. The explosion shook the tower where Eli stood. He grabbed Siren and pulled her close as a wave of heat rushed past them. Guards shouted. Sirens screamed. The bond had been completed. Now the war had begun. The betrayal. Inside, as the palace fell into chaos, Eli and Siren ran down the stairs, trying to reach the central command, but they were stopped halfway by Volari guards. "Stand down!" Eli shouted. "We're under attack." The leader of the guards pointed his weapon at Siren. "By order of the High Council," he said coldly, "you are under arrest. The bond is illegal. The punishment is death." Eli stepped in front of her. "You're pointing that at the wrong person." The guard didn't blink. "You are not Volari." Siren's voice cut through the air. "He is more Volari than you." The guards hesitated, and that was all the time she needed. Her eyes glowed gold. The weapons melted in their hands. Escape through fire alarms blared. Walls collapsed. The ground shook beneath their feet. Siren grabbed Eli's hand and pulled him into a secret corridor, one only the royal bloodline could open. It led deep beneath the palace, to a place forgotten by most. "Where are we going?" Eli asked. "To the heart core," she said. "If we don't reach it, everything dies." The heart core, the living engine. The heart core was a giant glowing sphere beneath the palace. It powered everything: lights, shields, ships, life support. Now it was flickering. A virus had infected it. Siren placed her hands on the surface, her skin glowing with ancient code. Eli watched as she fought the virus, not with fire, but with memory. She sang an old song in her language. The core pulsed. But the virus fought back, captured suddenly. A blast knocked Eli to the ground. He looked up to see the red-armored assassin standing at the entrance, blade in hand. "You should have left," the assassin said. Eli stood up slowly, bruised but defiant. "You should have picked an easier target." The assassin didn't laugh. He attacked. Eli fought back with everything he had. But he was human, tired, bleeding, and the assassin was built for this. In the end, Eli was slammed against the wall. Blade pressed to his throat. Siren screamed, "Let him go." The assassin turned to her, mask tilting. "Break the bond, or he dies." The choices. Siren stood frozen. If she broke the bond, Eli would live, but everything they shared would be erased. Their minds, their memories, their connection. She looked into Eli's eyes, and he whispered, "Don't save me. Save us." Siren's hands rose, but not to surrender, to fight. The light unleashed for the first time in her life. Siren let go of control. The bond glowed between them, brighter than any sun. Eli's body lifted off the ground, his wounds closing. His hands glowed gold. Their minds joined completely, and when the assassin struck again, he was stopped by a wall of light. Force never seen before in the galaxy. The hardcore stabilized. The virus burned out. The palace shields powered back on. The enemy ships outside were caught in a blast of golden energy and destroyed. The galaxy reacts on nearby planets. Alien leaders watched in silence. One of them stood and said, "A human has bonded with a Velari royal. This changes everything." Another whispered, "Or ends everything." Final scene. The calm after chaos. Later, Eli sat beside Siren in a quiet room, both of them alive, but changed. She looked at him with tired eyes. "You could have died," he smiled. "So could you." She touched his hand. "We still might." He looked at the stars now blinking again. "But if we do," he said, "it'll be together." Opening scene. A message across the stars. The message was short. Just one sentence. It spread from planet to planet, system to system, in less than 1 hour. It flashed across warships, holograms, and hidden screens. "The human has seen her face and lived." Most didn't believe it. Some called it a trick. Others, a miracle. But all agreed, the galaxy had changed, and at the center of it all stood Eli and Siren. Seen. After the storm, the palace was damaged. Walls were cracked. Fire still smoked in corners. The sky was gray. But Eli and Siren stood side by side before the Velari High Counselor without a mask. Him without fear. The council chamber, once proud and loud, was now silent. 1,000 eyes stared at the human. 1,000 more stared at her face. Eli said nothing. He didn't need to. He had already said everything by staying. The vote for peace. The council leader stepped forward. His robe was torn, his crown chipped. "The bond is real," he said slowly. "It cannot be undone." He turned to the others. "Then we must decide, do we fight this change or accept it?" One by one, the council members began to vote. Some shouted no, but many more whispered yes, because they had seen the light, they had seen the power, and they had seen her. Smiling, outside the palace, the crowd awaits for the first time in Velari history. The princess walked among her people with no mask. The silence of the crowd was thick. No one knew what to say. Until a small Velari child stepped forward and touched her hand. "You're not scary," the child said. Siren smiled gently. "Neither are you," and just like that, the fear broke. Others stepped forward. They touched Eli's shoulder. They bowed their heads. They welcomed him not as a stranger, but as something new, a bridge. Elsewhere, new bonds begin across the galaxy. Something strange began to happen. Aliens who once feared humans now invited them to talk. Some invited them to stay. A few even asked, "Will you bond with one of us?" And in the darkness between stars, where only whispers lived, those whispers now said, "Maybe the humans are not so weak after all." The enemy watches far away, in a part of space where light could not reach. The last of the Blade Order watched the events unfold. One of them turned to his master. "They've united," he said bitterly. "A human and a royal." The master didn't move, but then he smiled. "Let them shine," he said. "Light is easiest to strike when it thinks it's safe." Back at the palace, the last decision, Eli stood on the same balcony where the stars had frozen. Now, they blinked gently above him. Siren joined him. "The council voted," she said. "They want to start a new era with us at the center." Eli chuckled. "That sounds like politics." "It is," she said. "But this time, it starts with truth. With choice." She looked at him. "You don't have to stay, Eli. You did your part. You can go home." Eli was quiet for a long moment. Then he turned to her. "This is home now." Final scene, a bond unbreakable as the stars turned above them. Eli and Siren held hands, standing between two worlds, human and Valari, past and future. War and peace. Together. As they stood there, a message began to form again, this time. Not from a screen, not from a council, but from the people from all over the galaxy. We see each other now. And it all started with one human who dared to stay.